Hi everyone, Sparkle Sprinkler here. I'm going to spend some time today filming several videos, getting ready for this square series. I had thought about waiting and just releasing maybe one a week up until time to start, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put them all up, simply because some of you may want to get some of these and start practicing on gridding and placing your diamonds before we get started. Find what works for you before we get started. You can get these on Amazon. Let me pull these up. Let's see. There they are. You can get 5 of these. They're 30 by 40s for $15.66. They also have them in the rounds. So if you wanted to grid your rounds and practice before you actually do put it on your actual piece that you're going to work on, you can practice on them. And they have the rounds for same price, $15.66. I don't see why you couldn't grid out your rounds. I'm going to when I start my large ones that I've got from Temu. So I'm going to go ahead and release these and get them on out, so that way if you wanted to practice, you would be able to before you actually start working on your actual piece, and that way you're practiced, and you've kind of, instead of putting washi on and having to pull it off, and because it does take a little bit of time to get it as it should be if you're going to grid this off like I do. So I'm going to go ahead and just release these and get them on out to you, and that gives you a couple of weeks if you want to get some practice sheets in. This is where I get them from. They're come with a clear cover, which is what I need. The squares are wonderful on it. It actually has, let me zoom this in. These actually have the dark lines that grid out, you know, I think it's 10 by 10s. Not sure. I haven't counted them. But if you wanted to practice, then this would be a way to do that. I use the Scotch brand washi tape. Love it. It sticks to everything that I've ever put it on, whereas others would peel up and the end would peel and it wouldn't stick. I've just found that Scotch for me works the best. I went with this color so you'll be able to see it good on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grid this one. Y'all, I have allergies so bad, so apologize for my clearing of my throat. I'm going to grid this one so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then I've got this one that, I think this came in a mystery pack. It's a 90 by 30. And that way I'm going to grid this one off so you can see how to do it, you know, without your grid lines, and how I would do it on a printing canvas. So we're going to have, I'm going to do this in sections, y'all. The way I have to sit to stay in focus for this camera, so you can see down on it, I'm going to just take every 15-20 minutes, just take a break, stretch, come back to it. So I don't know if I'm going to pause. I may just cut it off and then come back on. My instinct is to tell you I'm going to take a break and I'll be back in a second, you know. So we'll just play it by ear, y'all. I'm winging this, okay? I'm been thinking about this long and hard. I don't have any notes on this. I'm not going to make any notes on this to follow, because things will come up along the way that I remember that I may not think to write down, and so I'm just going to wing it. You'll just be seeing just as I go how I do this. Get this Scotch tape out. And let's get this gridded. I do it in long strips, the full length of my canvas, no matter what it is, if it's 80 by 80 or whatever. I grid it in a long strip. I tried it, piecing it, and it just did not give me a straight line. So I do it all in one long go. And the reason I decided to do it on this smaller one is because mine is an 80 by 80. So it would be hard. I can't get the 80x80 in the full screen. So you wouldn't see what I'm doing all the way across. This way you will see everything that I'm doing. Okay. All I need is a pair of scissors and my washi. On this one, I think I'm going to go 4x4s. 4 across, 4 down, all the way up it. And what I do is, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to work this section. I grid off what I think I can do in the day or a couple of days. Y'all, I don't ever do it the same. It's just whatever on the whim. If I decide I want to do bigger sections and just work on it through the week, then I'll do a bigger section. You know, I just wing it. There is no set in stone. This is exactly how I do it. You're going to see sometimes I grid smaller sections. It's just whatever I feel like doing for that day. And then, you know, in the end, if I decide I want to work more, I can just lift the other one up and work further. So you're going to see that I don't do it the same every time. It's just whatever I do, I do. Let me get this started. Now when you do this, let me get this tape. It's not wanting this. There we go. It's got you some good stuff, y'all. When you run this across your canvas, you don't want to pull it tight because you're putting tension on this cover sheet. Now what I do is, okay, I'm going to work the 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be this section, 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. So I will grid this and this. And this is not focused very well. Let me zoom you out and zoom you back in. There we go. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 up to here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 to here. So this entire section will be gridded off. And what I do is I take the top of my tape is going to run along the bottom of the line that I want to end at. I used to grid it above. Here, I got a pink pen here. I used to grid it above the line where I wanted my cutoff, but I quickly learned, wait a minute, you need to do this different. So I run the bottom of my tape along the line, whether it is this or this. Wherever I want my grid line to end, I run the tape along that line so the tape is down into the area I'm going to be working on. And when we get to putting diamonds down on the canvas in the next video, it'll explain why. Okay, you can do it whatever works best for you. I've just found this works best for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I always run my lines across first and then I go up and down. Okay, so I'm going to take this tape and I'm going to place it. I go outside the edge and I'm going to place it right below. You need to get it straight. And like I said, the way I have to sit, I'm going to pull this a little further to me. You won't be able to see the bottom, but just know I'm going 4 up because I got to get this up to me so I can see my line. So we're going to run it outside the edge, and I just take it and pull it straight across and follow my line. Don't put tension on it. You don't want tension on this. Just press it down, and then I roll out and I take it straight across just like that. And then I always leave it outside the edge. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing over here. And then I just take my scissors and cut. Okay, now let me zoom you down. See, I put too much tension on it, and see what happened? It's pulling up. So I'm going to pull this edge up. And that's why you don't want to put too much tension on this. When I started out, I put too much tension, so I just lifted it and just gently lay it down. There you go. Now let me zoom you in so you can see what I did here. Get the camera to focus here. I just ran that washi right below the line of where I want my section to end. So this is the fourth square. So I just ran it all the way across right below the line. Okay, let me zoom you out and see. Here's my 1, 2, 3, 4. I run it along the bottom of the line, and you will understand why I do it this way once I film the second video of this, or the next video. It'll be part 4. You'll understand why I did it this way. I had to change my ways. I used to go above, and so my cutoff would be here. I would run the washi up here, but now I do it down here, and you'll understand why. So I'm going to move on up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my section. Let's get this closer to me so I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my section. Lay that washi down. Don't pull tight on it, but you want to keep it straight, and that's why you have to keep lifting. That's why I said you may want to get some of these sheets to practice before you actually put this on your true canvas, because you have to take it off and on, and you got to start it straight or it's not going to run straight across your canvas. And if it wrinkles up, just lift it on the end, smooth it down. But do not put tension. And what I do is I keep this lifted, and I take it to where I'm going to end and stick it there, and then the rest of it will be straight in between. My guide is over here, and that's a little high. See what I'm talking about? You may want to get some of these practice sheets to practice your gridding before you actually put it on your true canvas. And if it's a little lower, you know, than your line, it's not going to hurt. This is not a guide for laying diamonds. I'll show you in a minute why. There's many reasons why I grid this canvas, and I'll show you in a minute why. Okay, I'm just going to lift this up to it. See there? Just runs right along that line. And you don't have to be right on it, just so it's there, you know. Okay, then we're going to go up and do this last one. I don't ever grid across the bottom, and I don't ever grid across the top. I just do the in-betweens, but I don't grid here, and I don't grid here. It's from the bottom up to the top, and like 1, 2, 3, 4, this will be my last row of gridding. I don't grid up here on this edge. Okay. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when you're doing your canvas, this is easier because, well, you've got grid lines. You can count. I just, wherever I put it, I put it. I don't worry about if it's even. I may have, that's way off. See, this is why you may want to get some of these practice sheets to practice this gridding, because you do want it as straight as you can get it. And let me zoom you in so you can see what I'm doing here on this end. What I'm doing is, it's like right here is where I ended. I keep this lifted, and I take it to here. If my camera would focus, y'all, I'm so sorry. It's going in and out is what's causing it to do this. Once we get started with this square canvas, I'll leave it. It'll be, you know, in one spot. I keep it lifted, and I go and I guide to here, and I push down, and then I smooth the rest back. So that way I'm even on here, I'm even here, and I put that tape down, and then this is still lifted up, and I just smooth it down. That way it keeps it straight, and it's along the lines. You want it, you know, as straight as you can get it. It's not going to be perfect. I mean, mine's not. See? It's kind of swoop down through here, but it'll be fine. Then I go side to side, and I turn it. Let me zoom you out. When I get through this, I turn it. And this will run all the way from top to bottom. So when you're going from side to side, you don't go to the bottom and top. But when you turn this to run these lines, you go all the way. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And on these, zoom in. On the up and down, it goes to the outside of the line I want to start. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So my washi will run on the outside edge of the line where I want my grid to end. So when you're going across, it's at the bottom of the line that you want to end. When you're going side to side, it's on the outside of the edge. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So my washi is going to run on the outside of this line right here. Okay, and it'll all make sense when I show you why I grid this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to the outside edge of my 4th block. And just lay that down, and I'll go, you know, you don't want to pull. I'll go to about right there, and then smooth this down, and then move on and go to the end and smooth that down. Cut it off. And then we got one more section. Just remember, y'all, I have totally missed that line up here. It's hard for me to see the way I'm having to sit over this to do this so you can see it in the camera. This has got to pull back to about right there, and then this needs to lay like that because I wasn't on my line. Okay, there we go. All right, just remember that you are over part of your 4th block. 1, 2, 3, 4. This starts your next block, so count that block. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that gets kind of confusing. Just remember you're over part of a block, so you want to count that block. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I start my washi. You need to count this 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, like I said, when you're on your regular canvas, you're not going to have these dark grids to follow. So you just wing it and do whatever. Okay, let's get this one on. And you don't want to pull it tight. You're just kind of you want some tension, but you don't want it tight, because it will draw your canvas up. Okay, we're gridded. Let me take a little break. I'll be right back with you. Okay, now we're gridded. Everything's in 4x4s. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just remember your washi's over that first set of your grid. And you know, like I said, when you start, when I grid out my canvas for Coudils, I may have block this size, but the end may only be this big. It's so what, you know, it is what it is. Now what I do is I'm going to cut right along this edge right here. Okay, I do not cut right here. I always just cut right when, if this is the way that my canvas is laying, I cut my washi along this edge, and I cut it 2 squares high. And how I do that is I fold this back. Let me see if you zoomed all the way out. You are. I fold this back, being careful, do not let this cover sheet come back on your canvas, because it will stick like glue. And what I do, and if it's real big, I'll get a piece of pink wax and stick it down so it holds it down for me. I'll roll past this line like that. And I'll put a little piece of pink wax if this is a big canvas. And I take my scissors, zoom you so you can see exactly what I'm doing here. Scoot this up. And I take my scissors and I go right at that washi. And it just basically gives you a guide, y'all, to cut this. Until you get to this section, then you really have to cut. And then your scissors just runs. That washi really gives you a straight edge, and you can just slide your scissors right through. Do not cut through this piece. Cut to it. Okay? And then I'll come over. Always cut on this inside edge. That's how I do it. Now, if you wanted your washi to go over your canvas, that's fine. But I cut it to where my diamonds will butt up to the washi. Okay. Then cut through, keeping it straight to meet up with the other piece of washi. And that just guides your scissors right down and goes to that washi, not through it. Okay? Now I'm going to zoom you back out so you can see what I'm doing here. I take this piece, this is going to fold back over like that. These pieces will stay back for you. And just smooth this down. Take this second piece and smooth it down. Then you take your third piece and smooth it down. Now your canvas has met back up. This one's not straight. Your canvas has met back up and there's no sticky. It's exposed, so your canvas is protected. Okay. Now what I do, let me get a piece of pink wax out of one of these kits here. When I'm working on these, I take a piece of pink wax. You saw it on my rhinestone. It's not in here, so I'm having to open up another piece. I don't use cover minders. I don't want to fool with having to move magnets and all the above. When I'm working on this diamond painting, this piece right here will roll up and you go past your green, your orange there to your fourth line and fold it right where that washi is. So let me zoom you. Now that you've seen what I do, you can watch. Okay, let me get this smooth back out. I take this edge and I roll it up and go up over, because this is where my grid line would end, where my section would be. Roll it up over that washi. And then I take a piece of pink wax, I put it up here, and that holds my cover sheet back for me. And that allows me to get all the way up to where I wanted my grid line. Folding this up past this washi, because that's where I wanted my section to end. It allows me to roll that up and be able to get to it. Just like that. And I would work on this section here. The reason that I do that is because when I'm finished working this section, I will take my scissors and cut along the bottom of this washi right here. Sure, my diamonds are going to be covered here, but if you ran this washi up above where you wanted your grid to do, this top section, that wouldn't completely cover your glue. So now when I cut this piece of washi is hanging further past where my next grid would start, and that allows my glue to stay covered. If I had this washi up above, it tends to not cover, especially when you've got a row of diamonds right here. It tends to lift up. And what I do is, if this is cut, I take another piece of washi. If I'm not going to work on it for a while, let's say this whole area is covered in diamonds. If you had this washi up here, this wouldn't stick down as good. That washi would not stick, so that's why I bring it down below. So this is hanging over the diamonds that I've put down, and I'll take a piece of washi, put it across that washi, and stick it to my diamonds, and it holds my next section down. I used to grid this with this above where I wanted my grid to end, and I learned quickly that when you get that row of diamonds in here, that doesn't butt up to it, and you can't stick your cover sheet down very good, and it tends to lift and dust can get in there. So that's when I learned, go below, roll it up above it to work on it. But when I cut this off, when this section is done, when I cut this off right here, this piece is hanging over the diamonds that are laid here, and it allows me to put a piece of washi tape there and stick it to my diamonds, and it holds my next section down. Now y'all, the reason that I grid this off is, number one, that. Number two, I work on very large diamond paintings. Let me get this cover sheet smoothed. I don't want to have to lift an entire 80 by 80 or 70 by 70 sheet up and all of my glue be exposed, because I work from right to left, left to right, then right to left, and I zigzag going across this canvas. Okay, so if my cover sheet was completely rolled up while I'm placing diamonds, my hand's going to be in that glue. Not so much going this way because I'm right-handed. Left to right, it wouldn't be so bad, but I tend to sit like this. My arm and everything would be through this glue. This allows me to not have that problem. So I've just got this piece lifted up like this and stuck to my pink wax, and my hand can sit here as I'm diamond painting and I'm not in my glue. Okay, it just makes it easier for me. You may be okay lifting your entire sheet up. I don't. That's the main reason I do it, to keep my hand out of the glue. Okay. When I'm working these, I always start on the bottom left and I work all the way. Well, you will see when I start the series, I get my diamonds painted started. And then once it started, I work left to right and right to left. That way, should I have any gaps, they're not all ending on one end and you got a row of gaps, possibly. It staggers it for me. I never work from outer edge to inside. because then you'd have a row possibly of where your diamonds met. Just like if I worked all the way across here and everything was tight until I got to here and I had some gaps on the end, and then I come back over here and work across and I possibly have some gaps over here, you would see a row of gaps. That way it's staggered going up the canvas. Y'all, this is why I said I'm not making any notes, because as I go, there's going to be different things that pops in my mind. Oh, I forgot about that. Let me tell them this. So there's not going to be any notes on this. It's just going to be true winging it on this. This is how I do it. And that way, as things pop in my mind, I'm not having to stop to look at my notes. I'm just flowing with, just going with the roll. Like I said, I don't always grid this off the same. On a canvas like this, you don't have those dark red lines. So I just wing it. I just say, okay, I want a section about this tall, so I'll run it across. And then I'll look at it and say, you know, this is a skinny canvas. I'll just do one in the center. Or, you know what, I want to do 3 sections. Every time it's different. It's never the same. And when I grid off my coup deals, it's an 80 by 80. I may have somewhat uniform, because you don't have a guide as to each one is the exact same size. They may be different sizes going across, and that's fine with me. Okay. Let me see if I can think of anything else on this before I move to gridding this one off. Just remember, on mine, I bring it below the line where I want my grid to end. So that way I can fold it up, roll past that washi, and it allows me to get all the way up to where I wanted my grid to end. But then when I cut this right here, when I'm finished with that section, this part of washi will be over the diamonds here that I've already laid, so I know that my section above is covered. Okay, I used to take it up above, but I learned that it wasn't staying down, and I was getting a little dust up in the next section. I always cut on the outer edge, mainly because, y'all, if a lot of reasons I grid is I could just easily just cut this without the grid, but I was finding myself placing diamonds on the plastic cover. Let's say that I don't have grid on here, and I just cut it right here and I lifted it up. I was always finding myself placing diamonds, trying to put diamonds on the clear. So this gives me a guide of where that clear ends. This is where I would go up to. If I've got it a little over the line, I can just easily lift this up to place these diamonds along this line here, and then just lay it back down. Okay, and I always cut on this side and this side, and then this edge, you know where your end is. I hope this is making sense, y'all. I've never taught anyone to do anything, so I'm hoping this is making sense. If it doesn't, please leave me a comment and say, hey, I didn't quite understand what you were meaning by that, y'all, and I will make another video and explain it to you. I'm a visual person. I'm not a tell me how to do it and I can figure it out. I have to see it. So if you're that type person and something on this is confusing to you, y'all do not hesitate to leave me a comment and say, I'm not quite clear and get the timestamp. Go back to the videos and do the timestamp and say, I'm not clear at the 14-minute mark what you were meaning there. Can you clarify that? And I'll do you another video and clarify it. Okay? Because I'm a visual person. I have to see it to understand it. But I just cut here, and then this piece will lift up when I'm ready to work on the next one. It goes up above, just like that. And this is my 4x4 section that I would work on. When I'm finished with it, I would clip all the way across here, lay this down. This will be over the diamonds that I have completed. I will take this piece of washi tape, put it on the washi tape here, and stick the other part to the diamonds. It holds this next section down. And then when I'm finished those two sections, get this peeled back up, then this lifts up. It goes up past the washi. Pink wax would hold it, and I work all the way to the end of my canvas. When I'm done, I clip right here. That way this piece is over the diamonds I have completed, and it allows me to secure that cover sheet. And then when I'm done with this one, I did not cut on up. I would fold this piece on back and cut again. Okay. When I'm going, the reason I don't cut this all at one time is when I'm working this direction, see what happens? I lose my grid of where my clear starts. But with this folded back and this right here, it gives me the guide. Okay, I know where my line is. I don't have to have the grid of this along this, okay? Because I can see this, I can see this, and I know where my edge of my clear is. Does that make sense? Because when you're going from right to left, you don't have this orange. Okay, so I can't tell where the canvas ends, where the cover sheet of this piece begins. But with this here, where it's at, that would fold on up like this. I see my lines. I know where my clear ends and where the canvas begins. So I won't worry about, oh, I'm putting that on the clear plastic. I'm not on the sticky. This is the main reason I grid. Okay. And then once I get this section done here, I pull these back and I cut these, but I always cut on this side of this grid. I never cut over here. Okay. Now when I do my Q-deals, I'm only going to grid half the canvas. And then when I'm done with that canvas, I flip it upside down and I work from this side. So I only grid half the canvas at a time. Alright, I hope that makes sense on this side, because what you're doing is you've only cut to here. All of this is still intact. So when you finish this and you cut this off, then you finish this, you have no more cut pieces up here. So I will go in and once I'm done with this, when I'm done with this bottom section, I fold this back and cut the next section. I always have two sections cut at one time. That will make sense when I show you the diamonds later. And I'll place diamonds up through here. That'll be in the video after this one. I'll place diamonds all up through here so you can see when I cut my next section for my grids. Right now, it's going to be a little confusing, but it will all come together when I start putting diamonds on this canvas, because I'm going to put diamonds down, and I'm going to put diamonds throughout the entire section, so that way you can see when I'm done with this section, I move up here, I need to be cutting this next section, because I always have two sections cut, and it will make sense why when I do the video of laying the diamonds down. Okay, I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to get this one out, and I'm going to grid it so you can see what it's like on a printed canvas without the dark lines as guides. All right, be back with you in a minute. Okay, since this one is only 30, I think I'm going to do just one through the middle and then grid the edges here, across the side to sides. I think it would just be too small. Let's do it. Let's do 3, so that way it'll give you a little bit more. What I do when I've got a printed canvas is I decide how far up I'm going to go. It just depends. I may have smaller sections on one canvas and bigger sections on another. It just depends on what I'm feeling like when I grid it. But if I do smaller sections, and then when I start working on it, I can always lift two sections at once if I want to work on a bigger area. Okay. So I'm going to do this one 3 across. And I think I'm going to start this one right here, just because. It's harder. I'm going to zoom you down. It's harder when the canvas is printed. And see, I just take it to where I want it to be. And then smooth it out. Okay? Take it to where, make sure you're following your line. See, I'm a little above. I don't worry about that. I'm not going for perfection here. Take it to the outer edge, stick it down, and then smooth it. Okay? And you can do it however works for you. This is what works for me. This is just a tip of how I do it, and if this will work for you, perfect. If not, get you some practice sheets and find what will work best for you. Okay, so I'm going to take this one to about right here. So I get my washi, find where I want it to start, get it on that line and get it started. You didn't see that. Didn't have you in the camera. Find the line. Zoom in a little more so you can see. Find the line that you want your grid line to start. Get it started on this edge right here. And then follow your line. A little bit too high for my liking there. Just like that. Then slide it over. Let's see if I can get it all in one. Follow your line. And y'all, I have put this down before. Stepped back from it and I was up a line. It happens. Especially when it's printed. And then just lay it down and smooth it out. I have stepped away from it and said, oh, well, that's a line up. I had it crooked running this way. So you just lift that up and then pull it straight across your line. All right, this one I'm going to take to about right here. So get my washi. Get it right on that line. Stick it over here first. Stick it right there because you want to start out with a short section. Scoot it over. Run the washi out. Make sure you're on your line. You're not seeing them too far out. Let's see if I can take you just a little right there. No, you still can't see. Okay. Let me scoot you. Follow your line. Stick it over here first where my thumb is. Right here. And then smooth it down. Okay. Take it right here. Follow your line. Stick it down on the edge with your thumb and then smooth it down. Just like that. Okay, then I'm going to make my next section right about here. And like I said, I just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, we're going to lay that. Let me make sure you're in the camera here so so you can see what I'm doing. Start it right there and stick it down with your thumb, and then stick this one down with your thumb and smooth it out. I always start my first section really short. This is wadding up in my lap. Let me scoot it a little bit. There we go. Then roll it out. Follow your line. I keep my tape in my finger like this and my thumb on the edge. Follow your line. Stick it down with your thumb. I just stuck it down and smooth it out. You want to keep it as straight as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. Stretch it out, follow your line, watch my thumb. Stick it down with your thumb, smooth it out. Roll it back and cut it. And then we got probably one more section we can get on this. Okay. We're going to go right about here. So follow your line and stick it. I always start with a short section. Then follow your line, stick it down with your thumb and smooth it out. How I'm holding this is I got my finger in here like this. My fingers are wrapped around the roll, and this thumb is what sticks it down. Okay, I hope y'all can see what I'm doing and it making sense. Roll it out. This is how I've got a hold of my roll, like this. Okay, lift that back up. Follow your line. And stick it down with your thumb and smooth it out. It's all about sticking it down with that thumb to secure it on each end. Then everything else will smooth out through the center. If you've got it straight from end to end, you're golden. Okay. Now we turn the canvas around and we start gridding down the center of it, and we're going to go 3, and this is going to be one long piece. Okay, I don't do it in separate pieces. Okay, I'm going to stick it down, smooth it out, scoot the canvas down, roll out another piece. Follow my line. Do not pull tight on that tape because you will make your canvas buckle. Smooth it down. Scoot the canvas down. You're going to cross over. Make sure you're staying on the line. Once you cross over that, it's hard to judge if you're on your right line or not. Smooth it down. Roll out some more. Make sure you're following your same line. Do not pull tight on that tape. Smooth it down. Roll out more tape. Follow your line. Do not pull tight. Just a little bit of tension, because if you've got this pulled tight down here, when you lay it down, you're going to buckle that canvas up. Okay, roll it out, stick it down, the main thing is make sure that you are following your line, especially on a long strip like this. And see how I'm a little bit over my diamonds? I really don't like that, so I lift it up and put it back on there. On a long piece like this, you want to make sure that you are where you're supposed to be and not one or two lines up. Make sure you're following that same line. And then get to the end and cut. I have had it on my canvas crooked, and it sure makes a headache. So be sure that you're following the same line all the way up and down your canvas. Okay, and I'm going to scoop this down, and we'll do our final row here. And once you get the washi on it, makes your canvas stiffer. Okay, it's going to flop around. It's going to be stiffer. It's not going to be as I'm going to have to do something with it to keep it in the camera. There we go. Okay, here is my first line. I'm going to take my second one to about right here. So find where you want it to be. Get it on that line. Stick it down on this side. Stick it down on this side. Well, see how crooked I was? I don't like that. Just like that. And then start moving down the canvas. Pull out the tape. Make sure you're on the same line. Stick it down with your thumb and smooth back. Roll out more. Stick it down with your thumb and smooth it down. My little ladybug is flying around, y'all. It may come in the camera here in a minute. Okay. Follow your line. Stick it down with your thumb. See, I'm off. See here? I'm not on my line. Stick it down with it. That's a little tight. That's going to put tension on the canvas. See, as many times as I've done this, I still, see, look, I'm still off. And I think a lot of it is I'm trying to do this on camera and trying to make sure you're seeing it too. There we go. Just like that. You can buckle your canvas up. If you do, it's not the end of the world. I just don't like to do it. I try not to put too much tension on this. Stick it down. Smooth it out. When you're crossing this line is when it really is easy to get off of your line. Smooth it out. Stick it down with my thumb. Smooth it down. Stick it down with my, oh, you're not even in the camera, y'all. I'm sorry. Stick it down with my thumb. Smooth it out. And then cut it. Alright. Our canvas is ready. Okay. Now, I will choose the end I'm going to work from. And on this one, since it's not so, see how it's not even? I don't care. These are smaller than these. It doesn't matter. So, since this one's so narrow, I'm going to roll this back, take it past your second grid, just like that. And then I'll turn it around. You're always cutting on this side. Okay? I'm going to roll back and stick it down in my lap here. Take your scissors. And just let those scissors run right along the edge of that washing. And if it's not even, it's not even, y'all. It's not going to affect anything. You can always lift that piece up and diamond paint under it. See, like right here, I cut a little bit of washi. Oh well. And just slide it right down that to the next section. Don't cut through it, cut to it. And then I do the second section. I always cut them all the way across. Whether it's a 30-inch or an 80-inch, I cut it all the way across the canvas. I am all up in that washi on this one, y'all, and that is fine. Okay, turn it around. You're going to take your first section, smooth it down your canvas. Take your second section, smooth it down your canvas. Take your third, smooth it down your canvas. Always go back and double check through where you've cut to make sure you're not feeling any sticky. If it is, lift it up. See, I've got some wrinkles in this. I could very easily lift this back up and smooth it on down. But always feel where you've cut to make sure there is no sticky, because that means you haven't got your canvas covered back up correctly. Alright, there you have it. And when I work on this one, I would just lift this piece up above that washi, and this shows me where my clear ends. And see, let me show you. I did not get a hole. I did not follow that line completely. I can just lift this up to place those diamonds down and stick this right back down, because it's not following the line. So do not worry if you do not have this washi exactly on the line. You can always lift that up, place your diamonds, and lay it back down. And then when you're done for the day or whatever, lay this back down. And since you're going to have diamonds up under the edge of this, just put you a piece of washi to hold it down. That's it. A lot of times in the evenings when I'm done, I'll take a piece of washi right here where my thing is, and just put it right there to hold it down. Maybe one on this side. Maybe I may have a piece of washi over here, and I may have a piece. Let me back you out some. I may have a piece of washi here and here, holding it down. So that way, because since I was not completely on my line here, a diamond's going to be up under this washi, so it's going to want to lift. There's your solution. It won't lift now. Okay? All right, y'all. I will see you in the next one. The next one will be laying diamonds down on that clear on that blank canvas, and showing you how this works with it gridded. All right. See you in a bit.